What's the life of a rodeo queen like? Well, let's find out. Welcome Dalli Holyoak, the 2024 Fiesta Days Rodeo Queen, to the program.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
I love
how
joining us.
sparkly you look.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
I know, we're just
And not just your outfit. You're so gorgeous.
You're so sweet. Thank you. I'm so excited.
I was going to say, Dalli, you had a little bit of a ride. Where are you coming from this evening?
I live in St. George, Utah, so I'm about 3 hours south from here.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. So anyone in Utah or out of the state can actually compete for the Miss Fiesta Days?
Yes, so you have to be a Utah resident to compete for Fiesta Days. So anybody in the state of Utah is allowed to compete.
Okay.
Even if you maybe be going to school in Wyoming, Idaho, as long as you have a residence here in Utah, you are welcome to compete.
Okay.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
So anywhere around town?
Yep.
Okay, well, around the state.
Yes.
So how long have you been riding horses? From the time you were a baby, or what's your journey?
Yeah, I like to say that I was born on the back of a horse.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Yeah.
she's born on the back of the horse, grabbed a hold of the tail.
Yep, and I just went. No, so I grew up around my horses my whole life, but it took me until about the age of 8 to really figure out that was what I wanted to do and to get competitive with it. Was when I first started queening, getting into my rodeo events, and it has never stopped since then.
Oh, well, you're gorgeous. You were made for it.
Thank you.
So what other rodeo events?
So outside of my queen stuff, I love to run barrels. I also breakaway rope, which is now newly added to PRCA. So I'm so excited to kind of get to.
Which is what? Explain it.
So breakaway is going to be a lot like your calf roping for the boys, except for our rope is tied to our saddle horn. So we're going to rope a calf. As soon as we pull our rope back, you're going to stop your horse as fast as you can. That rope is then going to kind of tighten a little bit around that calf and then snap off your horn, which then gives you the fastest time. A lot of girls can make a lot of money in about 2.1 seconds, 1.5 seconds. It's a quick event.
No way.
Did they do
yeah.
to the 100th second? I mean, is it that competitive
I've
yet?
never seen it under a second.
Because that's like barrel racing, right? I mean, you're
Yes.
just like, they have to do to the 100th second.
You can have times that are so close that
They have to go. Okay.
You are down to tenths to thousandths of seconds between each girl.
Wow. I feel like you should be announcer. The way you just rattled that off, right? It was beautiful.
I love actually announcing rodeos. I had the opportunity to announce a rodeo just last November for high school, and I loved it. I definitely would keep going if I could.
You need to.
Yeah. So maybe you need to go into some media.
Yes.
work.
Possibly.
So
I would
you
love
have a
to.
job outside of this
Yes.
volunteer gig. Tell us about that.
Yes, so when I'm not busy on the rodeo trail being a queen, I am a master esthetician. So I work right now at the Skin Institute as a student spa coordinator, but I do take some clients outside of that. So I just get to help people feel comfortable in their skin, and it kind of ties into my rodeo queening because I love to make people feel confident in themselves, and that's kind of my platform as a rodeo queen. Make you feel confident in who you are and be yourself no matter what. Don't let the stereotype of this world change who you are. So I get to tie my career as an esthetician into my career as a rodeo queen.
Oh my goodness. So you're on the road a lot. You're going to school. You're going to all these different rodeos. So how many rodeos this summer?
Oh my gosh, too many to count. I hit about 2 a week, so it changes. Since May, I have not been home for more than 4 days.
Oh my goodness.
So we're kind of crazy busy. It's a new rodeo every single week.
So do you pull your own horse?
Depends. Most of the time I do. I get really lucky and I have some wonderful friends that are willing to let me borrow some if I need to, but for the most part I do take my own.
And what's your horse's name?
So I kind of rotate. We've got 5, but my one that goes with me most of the time, her name is Callie. She's my go-to, just do it all. She is my sweetheart.
Dalli.
Yes. It gets really confusing. I never know if somebody's calling my horse or me. It gets a little confusing at times. Yes.
Does she do well on the parades or in the arena? Which one does she do better with crowds?
She likes the arena a little bit more, so I also rope on her as well. So she tends to like to follow cows, but she will do parades. So I do anything on her. We do buzz runs, I carry flags, parades. She's kind of if I need a horse to just do something, I can take her and she'll be just great.
Wow.
In our last couple of minutes with you, will you tell our viewers a little bit about the day when you actually compete to win this crown?
It's a very busy day, but this year I had the opportunity to compete with 4 other girls who have become my best friends since. I've had the opportunity to travel outside of Fiesta Days and see some of those girls that I competed with. So we start the morning off with horsemanship. So it's kind of like a beauty pageant, except for our talent is horses. So I have a horse trained to do certain maneuvers, And we go in, we show how well we can ride and our horsemanship skills, as well as showing off our horse. Once we're done with that, we'll head into the indoor portion where we can do our public speaking, interviews. So we have about a 10-minute interview with the judges individually. We do extemporaneous speeches, so I'm given 10 minutes to pick between 6 different topics, hurry and write a 2-minute speech and go present it. I love doing it. This was my first time getting to do it this year. I loved it. It was my favorite thing ever.
Definitely.
And obviously you nailed it. I mean,
I sure tried. So we do that. We've got on stage modeling. You also have an impromptu question.
yours
And
truly. I get to do
We
that.
did get to do a fun little interview with Stacy,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
was so
wonderful.
fun. I felt like it kept things relaxed the whole time. The contest for Fiesta Days, even though you're still in a queen contest setting, it's so relaxed, so calming. Everybody there is just wonderful that I never felt nervous or that I was in this queen setting where I had to be kind of frantic, like, oh my goodness. I just felt so relaxed the whole day, and it was so much fun. I really would recommend this contest to any girl that wanted to do it.
But you really believe in what you're, like you're saying, being comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah.
You do that for yourself,
Yes.
I think. I can see that.
Thank
and I
you.
think that's what the judges can see too, which
Yeah.
is really, really a big compliment to you.
I do try and portray that as best as possible, is that I'm just confident in who I am and that I love to share that with other people, and I love to talk about rodeo and inspire people and help educate them as best I can. So it helps with my rodeo queening and my career.
I want to know more about your horse riding, or what's the most difficult part of that, of being with horses, and because they can be trained, but
Yes.
sometimes they're unpredictable. And have you ever had
Yes.
a situation like that?
They do have a mind of their own. They are 1,200-pound animals. They can do what they want when they want. So one of the hardest parts, I think, that most people struggle with getting into horses is that each horse is so different. Your barrel horse is going to be completely different than your rodeo queen horse. So you have to learn how to balance and get to know their personality, because you change your riding style depending on your horse you're on. My reining horse, I ride completely different than I do my rope and my barrel horse. They all just are so different, and they have different cues. So that tends to be the hardest part when learning how to ride. I've been very grateful to have the opportunity to travel and try new horses out and have great friends that let me borrow horses. That's taught me to just be able to
'cause
handle
that's-
anything.
That's tricky. That'll help you in parenting too, right? Because every kid has to be
It's
parented
different, yes.
different, right?
Good point.
Learning life skills with my horses, they're like my
Yes.
children.
Absolutely.
Is there different reins and different saddles that you use for the different events?
So my barrel saddle is going to be a little bit higher. It's going to keep me in my seat a little bit more, kind of help me stay forward. Where my queen saddle is going to be a little bit bigger, the back of it's going to be lower, so that when I go to do certain maneuvers, I can really sit with my horse and get her to do what she wants. You do have different reins, so you've got just solid pieces that'll connect from side to side, or you've got what's called split reins. So that's where you'll mostly find it on reining horses, show horses. So
That's
one rein,
two different,
yeah,
right?
slides over, and you've got another piece of leather that connects. So you're kind of having to hold 2 pieces of leather at once to maneuver your horse.
Now, do most of them do neck reining, or do you have to do like plow reining?
It kind of depends on the horse. So like my reining horse is strictly feet. If you start pulling on her face, she can get a little mad. But my barrel horse is very handsy. So you kind of have to just learn
Yeah,
which horse does
really
what.
adjust. Wow. That's a skill, because it changes, and especially if you're
Yes.
borrowing horses from friends, it takes a minute to
Yeah.
okay, well, how are they gonna?
Yes.
Do they stop right quick, or are
Do
they
I?
more slower?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always try and take a few minutes before I get going, just about a minute or two, kind of get a feel for the horse, let him feel what I'm like, because each rider is very different. I ride different than some of my friends do, so I always take about 1 to 2 minutes, let the horse get to know me, I get to know the horse, and then we're good to
I
go.
was thinking you'd need 1 or 2 hours.
No.
Just for a minute or two. We get to know each
Take
other.
me 2 minutes to get on there and just like, okay.
Get a feel for him.
Yep.
Well, grooming the horses and grooming yourself. I mean, what time does your day start? Do you sleep?
No, we run on no sleep, but it kind of depends on my event. So if I have something early in the morning, I typically take myself about 2 hours is what I give myself to get myself ready, and then about an hour to get my horse ready, because she needs to look just as good or even better than I do. So I give myself about 3 hours prior to go time to get all me and her ready to go.
Do you get to bedazzle your horse? Like, what kind of
Sometimes.
fun things do you get to put on your horse?
So this last weekend I was up in Oakley at the Oakley Rodeo and Parade. So it was 4th of July week. We got to be a little festive. So we actually took some tinsel and I wrapped it around the center of my saddle. So she had tinsel all down her. I get sparkly glitter and I put it all over her feet. So I get to just kind of go
Bedazzle,
all out.
see?
Yeah.
It's so
I think
fun.
I'm
that's so
sparkly.
fun.
My horse is sparkly. We're just a bunch of glitter.
Yeah. I
Love
think
it.
that's so cute. I've never known that.
That's every little girl's dream.
Oh, yeah.
Probably when you ride down there, like,
Yep.
that's a real princess right
My
there.
favorite comment is, look at her feet. She's got red slippers on. She's got red feet. They're glittery. And I'm like, yes, she is.
Yeah,
My horse is the
cute.
star of the show.
You can just tell you love this.
Yep.
It's so fun to visit with you about this.
I truly do love rodeo, and that's why I became a queen, was that I get the opportunity to do this as a job. And I don't think people realize that is this isn't just a hobby. It is my full-time job. And I get to go around to any rodeo interviews, anywhere I possibly can, and just talk about rodeo and horses all day long. It is my favorite thing to do.
Awesome.
Thank you for making the time for us.
Yes.
Of course, anytime.
Best of luck.
Thank you.